ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
صدق الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you all for participating and spending the time and the energy to come, inshallah, and join us, Sheikh Muhammad. And Sheikh Muhammad was out last week, so everybody's took a break. So inshallah today we'll make up the missing lecture we had last week. I think last week Sheikh Muhammad talked about the da'wah or the the birthday of the Prophet, the Al-Mawlid al-Nabawi. So I don't know if Sheikh Muhammad is going to continue with the same subject or it's going to be a different today. But we'll inshallah give him the time to explain in 25 minutes, and then we'll continue inshallah with the question and answer session inshallah. Go ahead.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us and to protect us and to make us sincere, increase us in knowledge and practice, and make us learned and educated in the matter of the deen and in the matter of the dunya, in the matter of history and the matter of present and the matter of future. Today, I think only kind of obligation or required that we discuss the Muslims' participation in the US election, because we need to study this subject through and understand exactly what is going on, what is the Islamic point of view of this specific election, or is there any election similar to it or different than it in Islam or in history, on the Muslim literature, and what is the light, how to go about it. It is right now you live in this society, and there are Muslims, as we know, this year were 100 Muslims running for different seats throughout the country. And then 50 of them probably went through the final election, and we see right now results of 6 in California and Indiana and Oklahoma and many, Michigan, and so on and so forth. So these people are yours as a Muslims. These people who are running there, they are running by the name of Islam. And we are passive and we ignore it as if they are not part of us, or they are not representing us, or we do not approve what they are doing, or we delegate this matter to them and let them do it. We don't know whether they're doing it right or not. Or we can we learn from them what they are doing, what are their motives toward running by themselves without organizations and centers and scholars and supporting network and so on and so forth. How about the finance? How about the backlash from the non-Muslims? Where we stand from this? This matter is the matter of the obligation of the time we are in. We're not going to talk about the national election. That is, leave it alone until everything is clear. But this is reality, and we have seen in the news confirmed reports that many, at least South Bay of San Francisco, 6 Muslims earn seats in different capacity and legislatures in San Francisco. And the Oklahoma City, one sister went to the legislation. And Michigan, there are big numbers of Muslims in there. So what I'm saying, I don't know why we put our head in the sand and say, just don't worry about it. Or we need to learn and educate ourselves and be real, educated, aware, learned Islamically and reality, so we can lead. If we are going to lead our community, we can guide, we can extrapolate, we can enhance, we can enforce, we can apply, we can help, or we can direct and guide and correct the path that they are taking. Anyway, they are not waiting for you or for me or for any other, for community centers or for organizations. They are not waiting. They are there, they are pioneers, and they have charted this, and they invested a lot of time, a lot of education, a lot of money, a lot of talk, a lot of campaign to get to that point where we are, what we should do, and how we can deal with it. So in this matters, I'm going to just present one of these brothers that we know very well. He visited our community many times. He used to live in Houston, and then he moved to Indiana, and he worked there his way all the way until now he is elected to be seated in the Senate legislature of Indiana, and his name Dr. Fadi Qaddura. Many of you, he have come here and did fundraising with Hamid al-Ghazali, and when he was living in Houston, and then also he was living before that in Louisiana, and he lost his house for the hurricane and so on and so forth. So these people are our people from us, talking in the name of us and the name of our religion. Why we are boycotting them or ignoring them or neglecting them or not supporting them or not guiding them or correcting them, nor financing them, nor connecting to them, or basically be the support network to them. This brother, his campaign, he has his own web page and Facebook. You can look at it and see what he's doing and how he articulates whatever policies he wants to implement there, and how he come to this point, how long he has been there, 15 years working on this objective. Moved from Houston to Indiana, internship, and worked his way through small steps until he is now seated in the legislation. And that's why he's saying, bringing on, this is a brother that is Palestinian. He definitely was born in Palestine, but he migrated here for education, and then he settled here. And he is proud of his origin, and he always speaks, I'm Palestinian, and never shy of who is he in reality and what is the case and the problem of his people and of his land. So bringing more than 15 years of service in non-profit, for-profit, and public sectors spaces to the Huzir community, Fadi Qaddura has time and again demonstrated the hardworking, competent, and compassionate skill that are needed in the public servant at the State House. Fadi has been awarded many awards. I'm not going to go there. Fadi is proud father of his two daughters, one of them 14 and one of them 12. Now we really need exactly how he is presenting himself. And number one, what is his priorities? How he explained himself to normal Americans and how they trust him and his policy and understand and interact. As we said, he has been there for 15 years working to get where he is now. We must start, that's priorities. What he's saying, that's his talk. We must start putting people before politics again in Indiana. And we must spread that compassion instead of the same tired partisanship we see every day in the news. Indiana deserves a strong, experienced, and progressive leadership that is committed to justice, fairness, equality, compassion, and prosperity for all citizens. Fadi is the Democratic candidate running to represent Senate seat in District 30. And this is when he was somebody introducing him, will work across the aisle like he already has throughout his career. When Fadi is elected to the Indiana General Assembly, he will address the following issue. So, number one, affordable health care. Okay, and we're gonna just take a look quickly what he is talking about. Indiana has been confronted with many public health and safety challenges, including the most recent COVID-19 pandemic. One thing is certain, the Indiana General Assembly must protect Hoosier's right, this is the county where he is, to quality and affordable health care. More than 600,000 citizens of that county are enrolled in the state HIP2 and HCHIP, okay, program. During this uncertain time, they should not live in fear or losing their insurance because of partisan politics at the Senate, House, and in Washington, D.C. No one in this county should have to choose between paying for their medicine or paying rent. That is one issue. So he is calling for healthcare, equal healthcare for all his county. Social and economic investment, he has done some good job over there. I'm not going to go into that one. Education, teacher pay and investment in public education are Fadi top priorities. The only way that Indiana can compete nationally for jobs and businesses is by making critical and responsible investment in pre-K to 12 schools. And so on, he is talking about that issue. The infrastructure, also, he has his own agenda and priorities. Reproductive rights, I don't know if you know what that means. Fadi is pro-choice and will always work to protect reproductive freedom and choice for all people. And so the issue also, common sense gun reform. So that is his opinion. According to memos, demand action, on average, more than 100 Americans are shot and killed every day, and twice that many are wounded. This issue affects every community. 58% of American adults or someone they care for have experienced gun violence in their lifetime. That is why we must address gun violence in all its form. Fadi supports background checks for all gun sales to make sure people who aren't allowed to have gun don't get their hands on one. Fadi also support strengthening and closing loopholes in our red flag laws, as well as ensuring guns are kept away from domestic abuse. Climate change. He's definitely with the climate change, and he's asking to pursue that policy. The most important policy, I'm going to read it all for you, is marijuana reform. Fadi believes that marijuana reform is an important step in the reform of our criminal justice system. In Marion County, prosecutor, his name so-and-so, took the lead by choosing not to prosecute small possession cases. We need to expand this by decriminalizing marijuana at the state level so that law enforcement and prosecutors can focus resources where they are more needed. We also need to create a medical marijuana program that can provide an options for our veterans, cancer patients, and other who can benefit from the medical marijuana. Okay, so what I want really for you to discuss those issues. Okay, this is one. Well, Ilhan Umar also, she is re-elected easily in her seat, House of Representative. Also, the other Palestinian from Michigan, Talib, was elected, and so on and so forth. But they have to present something to the people on what basis they are going to be elected. And this is a policies that are real issues. People feel that they have to get an idea how this representative or senator is going to deal with it. Now, in addition to that, he is definitely engaged, earned the trust of his county, and has been working for them, and they have seen from him kind of leadership and good views they like. But where are the Muslims? Where are the Muslim community? What are you gonna do with this leader? Okay, he is a leader now, there's no doubt about it. And he is in that state, Indiana, and so on and so forth. What shall we do about it? And that is one question. The second question, is he representing Islam? Is he presenting views that are aligned with Islam and Sharia? Is he getting fatwa somewhere? Or how he chartered his life? Is he saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna do, and leave the community with themselves? I'm not going to listen to them. We really have to get engaged, at least on a learning level, learning those Muslims who have become true leaders in this country, in their capacities and their policies, and what Islam is all about, how it is connected to those subjects. What is in Islam parallel or similar or more or less the election that we know here? Is it anywhere in history? Is it anywhere in the Islamic literature? Is it anywhere in Aqidah or in Shura, or where is it? And at least if we are going to have a say, or to participate, or to correct him, or to advise him, or to support him and others, we have to have the background. We have to have the knowledge. We must learn it and seek the knowledge, make research, study some research, and be enlightened. This is what the problem exactly, even in the Islamic centers. We just keep ourselves buried in the sand, in the dark. We never learn what does it mean leadership? What does it mean shura? What does it mean to run the affair of Muslims in this country? All of this from Islamic education and Islamic point of view and research and study, so we can monitor, we can engage, we can support, we can really avoid all these crises that are going on and blooming beyond your imagination in majority of Islamic centers in this country. Because we, the public, the people, the Muslims, the Ummah, we just don't care, or we do not feel it is an issue that we need to learn about it. We want to learn about wudu and how to make salah and nawaqid al-wudu and how to make the straight line and all this. That for almost 1400 years ago, and still we need more and more and more, and fatwa and fiqh and so on and so forth. But this is real life. It's going to come to you and to me and your children and the future of Islam in this country. So this is just what I was trying today to stir discussion or awareness or interest in all of you, that let's at least look to Islamic point of view. Is there any credible Islamic literature to guide us? There is no doubt about it. There are. And there are also growing research papers and study and articles and thinkers and conferences trying to talk about it, whether from the point of view of just Americans or Western society or Islamic Ummah or Muslim countries. And we need to learn it because it is not something far away, irrelevant, and doesn't mean anything to me. It is exactly as this brother and all his colleagues running this way, and it's gonna come to you. He's gonna come to Muslims in his county and in his community and his state and his centers and organization and so on and so forth. And he will interact with them, and either with challenging or aligning or compromiser or consultation or what level of it, the confrontation is going to come. The more of these people going there, they are going to gain the power and the confidence and the support of the public non-Muslims, and then we're going to come back to the Muslim community, either critically or advising or conciliating or abandoning, and so on and so forth. So what is my goal of today? That really I would love for you and me that let's learn something about election in general. What is the Islamic point of view, and who wrote about this, and how can we be enlightened exactly at least what Islam point of view about this election here, American election. I know you can tell me that now there is Islamic Shura, and there is so on and so forth, but we are here claiming our centers and organization run by election, and we don't know what is election. And now our representatives, our members are running into the public houses and into the public legislations and into the public atmosphere, and they are leading. So it is time, and actually I believe it is a must. It must learn Islamically and be equipped and be educated and be aware and be learned how to tackle, how to articulate, how to present, how to argue, how to support, how to help, and how to coordinate. Wallahu a'lam. Jazakumullah khair, and I am just opening the session, inshallah ta'ala, next Friday. I already prepared the Islamic point of view. And what Muslims, scholars, this is scholarly, pure research and paper and ijtihad that are done in this country and some other places, but dealing with the Western style of election and how it can be integrated, not integrated, modified, adopted, discarded, thrown away, substituted by something else. So next Friday, inshallah ta'ala, we'll talk about Islamic point of view of the election. Wallahu a'lam. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
جزاك الله خير. بارك الله فيك شيخ محمد. Okay, inshallah we'll open the session for question and answer, and But before we do that, inshallah, I just wanted to bring two things. First of all, be safe as the coronavirus going up and it seems like it's all over. There's red alert. And also some brothers suggested that we have the class at 8 o'clock instead of 7:30. If this is okay, we'll do that, inshallah. So I will open the session, inshallah, and who's gonna start the first question, inshallah? Or who have the question that, or anybody have any question? Okay, Sister Karam, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Sh.Hilali, everybody. I just have a question. Growing up in the Middle East and listening to scholars like Dr. Nofal in Jordan, he's well known. I remember him saying that democracy it's not Islamic, and because the rule is for the majority, and when the majority is misled or corrupt, how can we balance that? And what does Islam think about democracy, especially when we are in a situation and time where it's either democracy or dictatorship? Could you please give us something about that?
Well, inshallah, this is next week. Inshallah, we'll go to this Islamic point of view of the election and shura and democracy and all these things. I mean, whatever Dr. Ahmed Naufal is saying, democracy is not aligned with Islam. It means in the matter of halal and haram and sharia and so on and so forth. But here we mean by democracy is people to elect their leaders. That is okay. So it depends on what kind of democracy you are talking about. Here we are talking about the democracy that is not making halal, haram, or haram legislation and establishing rules of halal and haram. Talking about, does people have in Islam, does people have the right or the responsibility or the obligation? It is either one of these three, to vote to elect their rulers, whether in local community or in statewide or national wide or not. What Islam says about this is totally different. What Dr. Ahmed Naufal talking about, when you are in becoming part of the legislations, there will be a legislation that is definitely opposing the Sharia, opposing Islam, opposing many principles of Islam. So what is the position? Now, people long time ago, they say, we are not going to run for this politics and we are not going to get into election. Now we are waking up and spilling the coffee. Muslims are already there. So what are you going to do? You going to abandon them? You're going to let them fall in the traps or commit haram or become non-Muslims or create a conflict and fight between us and them? Or there is a way to go about it. So that is, inshallah, what we'll discuss next week.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. And you're right, it is adaf al-iman. The vote is at least adaf al-iman.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, anybody else, inshallah, before we conclude? Usually, Brother Ziad have something today. It seems like he's not with us, or he's not.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Go ahead. You have a question, comment?
Well, it's silly. It's
I
silly
think Sheikh
question.
Ziad, you're not happy with what you heard.
No, not about happy, Sheikh. I mean, when you tell me his name is Fadi, there is a problem, Sheikh, with the name first. You know that.
No, I don't know why.
Because Sheikh Fadi is the essence of a Christianity. In a sense, he is the savior. When I hear a Muslim is named by his parents is Fadi, I understand. I come to ask myself, why would in the world someone would name his son Fadi? Because it means Jesus. That's why I was get confused, Sheikh. It's common in Arabic. You know that, but the essence of the name is Jesus. That's it. All I can say. It's not. It's not
I
about.
don't know that.
No,
And-
this is Sheikh because
but-
it's a religious name in Syria. Because Fadi means the one who fada, who sacrifices, the one who sheds his blood to save others, and that's exactly what they mean by Jesus. But that does not demean the person. No, it's not his fault. But that's also something. I don't know what to say, Sheikh, about it. But
Okay,
Sheikh,
we have Aziz Akbari, Sami Hindi, Umar al-Din, Husam Haqqani,
ya salam.
Maimuna Afzal. We have
Too many.
Alia. There are a lot of names. I mean, don't forget about Fadi.
Okay.
There are 50 names.
Yeah, no, I know it's not about the name. We cannot demean the person or debase the person or change our opinion of his mission based on his name. It's not his fault. طيب Sheikh, when we know that there are some Muslims running for seats and posts in the government and legislation council, do we jump right away to be like their backup? Or that's why I was waiting to hear your next session before we start having some views about it. I mean, I know that you have this political dimension that in order for us to grow and thrive in this country, we have to penetrate that environment, and that's true. And I think this is a start. It has been going for a while, but I think it cannot be perfect from day one. We cannot have the perfect representatives from day one or from first year or from first couple of years. But I think it's a good start towards the right direction. And I think we should tell our kids to also change their views of their academic pursuit, to also think of policies and politicians as a career for them. I mean, I agree with you.
جزاك الله خير. Okay, brother Abu Karam.
السلام عليكم جزاكم الله خير. Okay, first for brother Ziad about the name Fadi. I mean, we have Muslims named Isa, which is directly, it's related to the Prophet. So I don't think the name is something negative about a person's character or But anyway, that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is us living in this country, and especially when we are in high levels, especially in politics, there are some principles that we have to accept, which is completely contradictory to our beliefs. And that is, for instance, homosexuality, and accepting some behavior that is definitely against our belief. And I know that you just have to accept it. And you cannot just publicly say, well, I'm against that, otherwise you will not get elected. How do we, as Muslims in this country, how can we live, in a society where those principles are acceptable, but at the same time they are not acceptable to us? And that's the biggest challenge I face, even in other, not necessarily at the political level, even at the personal level, dealing with people in general. So any word on that, Sheikh?
I mean, is what I'm saying, that we need to wake up and start at least learn and be aware and gain knowledge about those issues. How can you either defend your position or agree or disagree on a solid basis, not emotional basis. As you hinted, there was a wave, a very strong wave, to force and push this issue of family is not a traditional family, a modern family, and so on and so forth. But with others, there is a pushback, and many have been pushing back that. And I think the greatest victory is this woman being nominated to the Supreme Court. She's a Catholic. She believes hard that family only a man and a woman, a relationship between a husband and wife, and so on and so forth. And she's expressing her opinion, her faith, her belief, which is aligned with Islam, and with no doubt about it, we get to move. I mean, we have to move ahead and proactive. If we get engaged and nominate some people, many Christian, they have the same belief that we do, push them to the front line, so we will be able at least to neutralize this. Instead, let it a choice. Somebody wants to choose, fine, but cannot force it on me and make it a law, and I have to accept it. This is what at least it is our obligation to stop it there. If that is their choice, fine with me, but cannot push it and force it on me and my family and my kids and my school and my dean and my society and my community. And that's only is going to come if we really do something like this. Basically get engaged and have voices heard in every senate and every state and every level of the government. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Okay,
Jazakallah
any more questions, inshallah, before we conclude?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Sheikh.
Go ahead, sister.
I have a question about that and a point to make. As a convert to Islam, most of my family, except the family I married into, is not Muslim. And so one of my favorite surah is, or ayah in this ayah is Lakum dinakum waliya din, because I just have to, because is it true? I mean, I'm trying to put my words together, my thoughts together here, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only accepts, only a few of us will attain Jannah, not, so we have to live our own lives in our own beliefs and follow Islam, inshallah, that we may not judge other people, let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judge other people, and not I'm not really sure exactly how to say it, but that's where I'm coming from as having a very small Muslim community.
So I don't know if I understand. So lakum dinakum waliya din, and also so should we just like boycott the elections and keep ourselves away, and also few people might enter heaven, Jannah, so why bother? I don't know if this is the right way to put it.
Okay, I'm so sorry that I wasn't very clear. The fact is, I think we should be involved in living Islam to its fullest in our own lives, but not to judge other people for not having the same beliefs, because it's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open their eyes.
You are absolutely. This is exactly what Islam. Lakum dinukum waliya din. You have your own belief and faith, which is fine, and I have my own. Respect mine, I respect you, and that is fine. The remark that few people are going to go into Jannah, that is not correct. The Prophet ﷺ said, third of the population of Jannah are the follower of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now you bring into that the follower of Isa and Musa and all those prophets. So the concept that only few is going to go to Jannah is not correct. 2/3 of humanity will go to Jannah, at least according to Quran. If you read Surah Al-Waqi'ah, 2/3 of humanity will go to Jannah, and the rest of them, Allah will take care of them. Allah is going to judge them. We don't know where they are going to go. So it's not correct that a small minority group are going to go to Jannah and the rest are in hellfire. That is absolutely incorrect, and the Quran stated clearly. At least we can conclude and infer 2/3 of humanity will end up in Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah. Any more?
Jazakallah khair. That
Yeah,
is very helpful.
Sister,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Can I just?
Go ahead, Karim.
I have a comment, Sister Lori. How are you? First of all, and it's. I don't know if I got one point that you meant to say. You are not obligated to hate a non-Muslim that's close to you and a relative in blood. It's because Islam and Da'wah is out of love for what good we have to give it to them, not out of hate of how they are and how they act. So we are blessed, they are not. We love to give them that, and you can love your family and accept them the way they are, even though they are non-believers. So I don't know what you think, Sheikh Hilali.
Yes, I mean we think or we believe we have something good for everyone, and we would like to share it. If they are interested, fine. If they are not interested, fine. لكم وقل الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. Tell them this is the truth from your Lord. Each choice is yours. You want to believe, fine. You don't want to believe, fine. Allah is the final judge, not me. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah. Anybody else, inshallah?
His hand is up.
I don't know if he's Ziad. Okay, go ahead.
I'm Sammy. But I'm kind of jumping in a few comments late back to the brother a few points ago, about just accepting whatever opinion is, whether it's homosexuality or being pro-choice or whatever. I mean, I think definitely I agree with the Sheikh. We have to. I mean, we can't just like put our religion to the side just because we're trying to be elected or trying to be like approved by the majority, because like you said, many people in power are Christian and they aren't afraid to like let it know that that drives their decision making. Like that's a lot, and especially in history in America, how it's been. So I mean, I think it might take time maybe for people to warm up to people saying, okay, my Islamic beliefs are driving this, but or it might not. I mean, I don't know, because ultimately Islam will prevail because it is the truth and it's not man-made. And I guess my point is, like we can't sugarcoat it, and we have no idea who is actually yearning, whose heart or soul is yearning to hear this, and who it could guide. I mean, who could be shown Islam in this realm and this political realm, and people's hearts are actually yearning for this pure lifestyle. And even if they are saying now that they're against the traditional family values or whatever, people are yearning for it, and that's my point.
Yeah, you're absolutely true. They are yearning to these family values, and majority of people here, non-Muslims, they stick their foot and they stick their position. Family is this is what is it, and they are willing to go all the way to defend it and to protect it and to practice it and to make it known. And we know many in our neighborhood and our friends and everywhere, they are really very strong in the family values, and we are with them in the same line. So we should just integrate the resources and this energy and the voices, so can have a great impact, instead of, as we speak right now, this brother and all his colleagues, they are 50 of the Muslims over there by themselves fighting the battle, and we are sleeping, but we are suffering from these values being forced on us in our school, in our family, in our children. So we need to wake up and just aligned with the forces that having this value and holding these values and start pushing back. Wallahu alam. Jazakallah khair. Good.
One thing, Sheikh Muhammad, is like a lot of our I would say background and education and politicals come from the masjid, and the masjid a lot of time cannot say and present everything the way Islamically it should be, because of its status as non-profit organization. So maybe one of the weaknesses we have is like in the mosques, you know, we cannot express our Islamic point of view clearly and with courage and you know, high. I don't know if this is
Actually, most of those Muslims running for seats, they basically run away from the masjids because they cannot really get along with them discussing this halal and haram and right and left, and you can't come up with any conclusion. There is no real education. There are no people in the masjid called a knowledge seeker. No, they are just to pray and to go or to entertain or to check the box. They are not knowledge seeker. Few of the goer to the masjid, few of them who are really knowledge seekers, but the majority are not. They are not expecting to learn the deen and the basics of it, to learn the politics, to learn the new issues, to tackle the modern challenges. They don't. There are some Imam and Khatib try to get into those subjects, but they are not qualified. We need to get the right, correct knowledge, number one, before anything else. And then we can, if we assume we know it, if we assume we have been told, assume the masjid is going to do it, we are absolutely wrong. Every one of us need to believe it is an obligation on him or her to seek and acquire the correct knowledge about every issue. Then from there we can move forward. Wallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fik. Okay, inshallah, for tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow 7:30, but the week after, inshallah, we'll start at 8 o'clock, since some of the brothers suggested 8 o'clock is more convenient. If somebody have any objection to the 8 o'clock, okay, so 8 o'clock, inshallah, next week.
8 o'clock is good. Jazakallah khair.
7:30.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.